All right, so let's do a whole body listening check. That means our eyes are on Mrs. Aubin, your eyes are up here, your ears are listening, your brain is thinking about what is being said. Elena, eyes up here, hands and feet are down and still, and our brain's thinking about a think book, which is appropriate. So our success criteria today, what we're going to be talking about is you will be able to listen actively to Amelia's notebook. You're going to brainstorm ideas for what you might write about in your think book, and you're going to decorate your think book and label your sections. So that's our learning target. That's why, that's our success criteria today. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen. And I am going to, let's see, is that share screen? I have a special book that I'm going to read to you to kind of kick us off so you get an idea, what is a think book? So I have a couple books that I brought. They're called Amelia books. They're written by Marissa Moss. And they are illustrated by Marissa Moss. There's all different kinds, and you can find these in our library. And today, I'm going to share one with you. So I won't be able to share the whole thing because it's kind of long, but I will at least give you the idea of what a think book is all about. Okay, so Amelia writes again. And I know my mathematicians out there love to know how old the books are. So this book is published in 1996. 1996. So let's think about how old is this book? If it is 2020, and this book was written in 1996, Ryder, how old do you think this book is? How old? Okay, if you're at home, put it in the chat. Mrs. Harrison, did anyone get it? I see 4 chats. Oh, Logan's got it. Okay, Ryder said 24 years old. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with Ryder. Nice job. Ryder, can you explain how you know it's 24 years old?
Because 6 plus 4 is 10, so you add the 4 to the 20.
So he said 6 plus 4 is 10, because 1994 to 6 more would give you 2,000, and then you add that to the 20, and you get 24. Good job. If you got that at home, sparkles for you. Nicely done. All right, so this is Amelia Writes Again. This is her second, I think her second one. There's another one that's like out of print, and I can't find it, but this will give you the idea. Says, this is my beautiful new, we have someone admitting, this is my beautiful new blank notebook waiting for me to fill it with words and drawings. But I feel as blank and empty as these pages. I mean, I just turned 10 exciting years old, but I feel exactly the same as when I was 9. And I look the same. Now here you can see she put a picture here, and she's got all kinds of little words. Same brain, same ideas, same thoughts. Ears are still not pierced. Not till I'm 16, says Mom. Same old scar from when Cleo threw a toy teapot at me. That, I'm not going to say that word. That's my sister's idea of a tea party. Same dip under my nose. What is this thing called anyway? And what is it for? I still had a good birthday, but I expected something would change. I thought 10 was close to teen and almost a teenager. It's not. Cleo says no matter how old I am, I'll always be a jerky little sister, and she'll always get to do things first, but she's wrong. And so you see a doodle of her sister, gooey, gluey cheese, gooey, gluey chin. It says, oh, I'm not going to read that part either. Okay, so here's the next page. I got to go to Space World first for my birthday. Just me, Mom, and Leah. The best part was the lunar landing ride. When Cleo asked what it was like, I said she'd have to find out for herself if she ever gets to go. I bought this postcard just to put in my new notebook. But when I did, Leah asked if she could see what I write in here. I said maybe. She may be my new best friend, but I don't know if I want her to see my private thoughts and drawings. What if she laughs at me or thinks I'm dumb? One thing is sure, I never want Cleo to see what's in here. And if you notice, she put souvenirs, like here's her souvenir stamped penny from Space World. She actually taped that into her think book. Lunar surface, not Swiss cheese. So she has little labels to show what her doodles are. Then she has her ticket stub from Space World, the postcard from the gift shop. And down here she wrote, this is kind of interesting, special sensitized magnetic strip that sets off Cleo alarm if she touches any part of this notebook. So that's to keep her sister out, I guess. Anyway, guess who gave me this notebook for my birthday? Not Nadia. She sent me a beautiful watercolor set with a great brush. And Nadia, I think, is her best friend from her the first book, which you wouldn't know unless you read that book. Not Leah. That's her new best friend. She gave me a charm bracelet to match her own. Not even Mom. She gave me a Walkman. And a Walkman is an old-fashioned tape player that people used to use. I'm sure your parents used them back in the 80s. So I'm wondering who gave it to her. If you think you know, put your hand on top of your head. If you think you know who gave her this notebook for her birthday. Who said that? Josh, who do you think? Her sister, maybe. Before we find out, she even put her birthday card from Nadia in her think book. She has other birthday cards. Here's spilled grape juice. Not, it's purple paint from my new paint set. And then she has a picture of her new brush and paint set. It was Cleo. Good job, Josh. She said now I could write something nice about her for a change. But you have to write good stuff about me. Thanks. She didn't say everything I wrote about her had to be nice, just something. Here it goes. Cleo does have one good thing about her. Her hands. She has long, elegant fingers. And she doesn't chew on her fingernails the way I do. Some hands have short, stubby fingers. I call them glove hands. Some hands are all bony. And here she draws the pictures and labels them. Then she has funny little things over here. Fur ball, hairy bug, plate of spaghetti, finger paint, or fingerprint, sorry. Sure. Gabe? Some hands seem smart. Others seem dumb. And this has nothing to do with whether the people they belong to are stupid or smart. It's just the way the hands look. Wide awake or droopy, itchy or snooty, pinchy or thick. I like to watch deaf people's hands. It's like watching expressions fly across someone's face or hearing feelings. There's a kid in my class, Eli. He has great hands, but better than that, he has the most amazing gestures. It's like his hands are having their own conversation while he's talking. And then again, we have all these doodles with labels. It's hard to show movement in a still drawing, but it's kind of like this. Don't interrupt me. I'm not. Duck fingers making shadows on a wall. Bunny fingers hopping around. Fingers going for a walk. Fingers meaning business. All right. I keep trying to start my math homework, but I always get distracted by my hand that's doing the writing. And then I get distracted by the numbers. Numbers each have their own personalities. It's hard to be an odd number, says the number 5. 5 is sharp and cranky. 4 is friendly and patient. I'm even-tempered. 3 is jolly but lazy and never wants to budge. It's tough being number 1. Number 1 is standoffish, probably because she's first. And number 3 says, I'm too full to budge. I'll just stay here. So she just is analyzing numbers, which is kind of fun. Then she has stamps. Says different stamps have different numbers on them. And then she says stamps from letters from Nadia. She's great at math. I wish she could help me. And that's up here. Before I know it, I'm telling myself a story about the numbers in the problem. Like 5 is all mad at 2 for being a copycat, only upside down and backwards, which is even worse as far as 5 is concerned. So the 2 of them are hissing at each other when they're supposed to stand together and be divided by 6.5. But 6 is too busy taking care of baby 1/2, says Stinky Diaper, who needs his diaper changed to pay any attention to 5 and 2. You think you're so smart. I'm more than you. I count more. Yeah, well, more isn't always better. You can be more of a meanie head. So there. Then Mom says it's dinner time and my paper is still blank. That is, there are no answers written down, although there are lots of doodles in the margins. Last night's homework ended up looking like a map made by an alien instead of a math worksheet. Sometimes this happens during a quiz, which is really bad. I end up handing in a no-answer quiz. Mr. Noodle says I just have to concentrate. He knows I can do it. I know I can do it too. So if we both know I can do it, why do I actually have to do it? Now, Amelia, use that old noodle. I started to write a good thing about Cleo, which is hard, but I do remember a fun game Cleo and I used to play when we were little. It works like this. Take a package of big fluffy marshmallows, not the mini, the big kind. Then you squash one in your fingers till it gets all sticky. Next, throw it on the ceiling. It should stick. We'll see who sticks the longest. Try to catch it in your mouth when it falls. It will fall. They don't stick forever. And then you have the doodles of the marshmallow sticking to the roof of the page. Confused aunt, which marshmallow is real? Actual marshmallow. She actually puts a marshmallow in her think book. I would not suggest that. And then guess whose gaping mouth this is? The jelly roll nose is a clue. Who do you think? Cleo. And so I'm going to stop there. It goes on, and we'll have these books available if you want to look at them or put them in your book bin. If you are at home, at remote learners, you can also look in the library, which we'll be doing this week. We'll be going to library checkout. They have these in our West Jeff library. So if you're interested in the Amelia series, there's a lot of them. And they are by Marissa Moss. Okay, so this leads me to our second success criteria for today. We talked about we would be able to listen actively to Amelia's notebook. I'm going to give everybody a pat on the back for me. You guys did an awesome job being active listeners. Now we're going to brainstorm ideas for what you might write about in your think book. So, what are some things that you think, and if you're at home, I want you to put in the chat box so Mrs. Harrison can tell me, what things might we write about in our think book? Now think about what Amelia wrote about. Any ideas? What were some of the things that you heard in the book or saw that she wrote about? Raise your hand if you have an idea. Miss Abby.
She got confused by the numbers in her book, and so she drew it in her journal.
So she wrote about numbers. Okay, numbers. What else? Yes, Ellie. She wrote about marshmallows, so crazy things. Yes, go ahead, Sunny. She wrote about her sister, right? Her sibling. Mrs. Harrison.
Logan says her friends.
Logan, good job. Talking about her friends.
And Jensen says food.
Food, good one, Jensen. So I need to write some of these down. So food, friends. Anything else you heard? In the back, Miss Maddie. Oh, that was funny. Yes, she talked about her friends. Abby.
She wrote about her sister.
siblings you could write about in your think book? Yes. I don't have any of my supplies. It's good. I'll let you. She wrote about even hands. So here's what I came up with. Any other ideas? What else do you have? Evie, did you have something else? Okay, here are some of the things that I noticed in the book that she wrote, and I'm going to add some of your ideas to this. So one thing I didn't hear you say, and maybe because it didn't get so into it in this one, but a creative story. She did come up with a creative story between the numbers. Do you remember that? So that was a creative story. One thing you didn't see in this one, but I've seen in some of the other books that Marissa Moss has written, is poetry. You might want to write a poem. Questions you have. What are you wondering in life? Memories. Memories is a good one. Like I could write about my wedding, right? Years ago when I got married or when I had my first baby. Those are my memories. You guys might talk about your first birthday, your 5th birthday, or when you went to Disneyland, whatever it could be. Goals. It's fun to write down your goals. Like, what do you want to accomplish this year? What do you want to accomplish as you get older? Feelings is a big one because I know, and Mrs. Harrison probably knows, sometimes we have really happy feelings and we're so excited that we want to tell our teachers everything that happened over the weekend, or something big is happening, you're getting your ears pierced, you're getting a puppy, your grandma's coming to visit. But sometimes there's sad feelings too. And one of the best things to do when you have sad feelings is to write about it. So we might ask you, if you come in on a day where you're not feeling great about something, we might say, why don't you write about that in your think book? So that, or maybe you're worried about something. So feelings is another thing you can write about. Sometimes you just have ideas. I know my son and his buddy would come up with ideas for businesses, and they would write them down, and they thought they were going to open a, I don't know what it was, a pretzel place or something where you do, I don't think it was pretzels, maybe it was nacho place where you've got different toppings, but they had it all figured out. Different ideas. Hobbies. If you love soccer, maybe that's something you want to write about. Maybe you want to even just do a how-to. How do you play soccer? Maybe it's dance, maybe it's hockey, maybe it's football, whatever you're into. So your interests, that could be, maybe you really love geology. I know that Paxton loves history and the world wars, and he might want to write about that because he's reading about it. You can write about your friendships. I put numbers on here because she did numbers. What about your treasures? What are things that you treasure? And sometimes we just have random thoughts, like about hands. Remember when she wrote about hands? That's kind of random, but it worked. So I'm going to add a couple things. I heard food. Yeah, she writes about food. You guys said hands. What else did you guys mention? I wrote it down. Friends, we got food, siblings. So those were some of your ideas. And then I want to put adventures. Like you might have had a great adventure this weekend. You had 3 days off. Maybe you want to write about that. What did you do over the weekend, over your 3 days? So these are all think book topics. So here's what you guys get to do. You are going to find, if you are remote, you got this in your remote learning bag. You will need this, and Mrs. Harrison's going to help you find your think book because you did not get a chance to label it yet. So she's going to take over your Zoom here in a minute, and she is going to show you what book you are going to decorate. So here's what you would do. You'll need scissors, and you're going to cut out on this sheet all of these labels, because that's one of our, so you can see what I'm doing. I have keep out. I have poetry. I have caution. Whoopsie. Another caution. I have private, 2 privates. Another keep out, questions. And here's what I'd like you to do. After you cut out all of these labels, you're going to see one for hobbies, feelings, animals, drawings. You might do drawings in there, but we're going to require words to go with your drawings and doodles. Oh, you might write about your pets, your ideas. Here's friends. Numbers, memories, and goals. So you have all of these different labels. Now, what are you going to do with them? Can I borrow your think book? Okay, so I have Lila's think book here, and I'm not going to do it for her, but the front of your book is where you're going to put all of these labels that say like caution or private, and you can put them in any random order. You might want to say keep out, because remember, your think book is like a diary. It's personal. I am willing to read your think book if you would like me to. It is not something that is required. Now, we would maybe say, Mrs. Harrison, you can chime in, that we want you to write 3 to 5 sentences one day. So we might be checking to make sure you've written your words and you're not just drawing, because it is not a sketchbook. Even though Amelia did do a lot of doodling in hers and labeling, it was all with writing. So remember, it is a writing notebook to get your thoughts down. It's your chance to be creative. So we're going to have all of these labels you can glue on the front, your keep outs and all of that. And then you can also, here's a fun thing, if you have pictures that you want to decorate it with at home, you can do pictures of your pets, any kind of pictures. If you want to draw pictures, cut them out and put them on. If you have stickers, you can decorate it with stickers. You can decorate the front and the back. Now, once you've decorated the outside, here's the fun part. Now you're going to put different things inside. So then maybe I'm going to make this page my hobbies page. So I would glue the word hobbies there. Then maybe I'm going to put numbers here. And that's where I would have my numbers page. See, I feel like I have tabs too that we could put tabs on for them. I don't know if we do or not. I don't think we have a tab. What if someone did with me? Maybe a student teacher. Animals might be my next, or ideas would be my next page. Then I would glue that down. Then I would glue down memories. So you're going to glue these at the top of each page. Okay? So those are your directions. You are to decorate your think book today. Tomorrow, we're going to start writing in our think book. So I'm going to get started with my kiddos here. Mrs. Harrison will stay with you online, but probably stop.